Well, that's the best part of the real guidance and the real education. It's not only here, but it's on the other levels. And as just like in school, as we go to school and we go through the first, second, third grades or whatever, and the teachers are there. We have different teachers, and the old schools, they had the same teachers, like on Little House on the Prairie, but it doesn't matter. We go through our process, whatever it is at that time, and so things are taken care of accordingly as we learn to wake up and recognize these things. So in other words, it's kind of like in school to where, when you've achieved the lesson, when you might say, earned your way, then it's okay. It's like, okay, the teacher comes up and says, you don't have to do this assignment anymore. You've done enough. You have extra credit here, so you can go out and play, little Billy or whatever. And so the same is taking place here. The real guides, at a certain point, they will step in and they will start to remove the tap lines. And this is what is not seen by many of these systems, and this is what took place in Paul's day. And even into Darwin's time, but eventually, as the reptilians took over that corporation and many corporations here, everybody's been, herded into a one-dimensional zone to where they just simply, basically do the worshiping and praying, and they just agree to the systems, and the guidelines become regulations, etc. And they're one-dimensionalized to, not really look at that anymore, not really see that anymore. And so, it's a real wake-up call. And, there are people out there that have a lot of courage, like David Icke and David Wilcox and other people that are referring to the reptilians and that. And this is fine, but still it's one-dimensional knowledge that people are getting. And what do they do with this? They don't really refer to the tap line and whatever. They refer to the reptilians, and a lot of people are very aware of this, very aware of the shapeshifters, etc., and the abilities these people have acquired. But that's why they have the body types they do too, the reptilian body types, because they have evolved like Gollum did in Lord of the Rings. Gollum in that was one of the hobbits. He was Schmied. He was one of the regular hobbits, but because of the ring and his obsession with it, it distorted him, and then his body type got really strange, his attitude, etc. And this is what has happened to these individuals that have come here for experience by the very fact of, kind of like the Klingons in Star Trek. It's all about control and destroy everybody else. They evolved, into a real bitterness, you might say, but, they still may have the technology, and this is where people are fooled again, is with the technology. But yes, like the onions, there's many, many layers, and like we go to school, but, and we learn what we do, and this is where people, again, confuse, and when we talk about life, they're thinking about creation here on the physical level, thinking that, this is life. And no, this is creation, but the real part takes place on the real side when the real guides who have the awareness see that the individual, no longer needs certain things, but sometimes the very burden of it is necessary for the individual to maybe get through its arrogance or its vanity, to be a little more humble and more caring and seeing what is taking place with the whole of life and not just their personal life, wanting to grab and steal and deceive others. So for some, the tap lines and whatever will stay longer because the individual created these tap lines in the first place. It's their agreement. But for those that are very sincere and real and want to see what's really taking place, then the guides will come in. And for some people, they'll take care of them very quickly. Again, it's all about attitude and attention, and they can see the individual. It's just like when we were in school. I remember when I was in the 4th and 5th grade, there was this one girl. She was very exceptional. I didn't know her personally, but she was in some of my classes, and she skipped grades several times because she paid attention to the academic side. She just whizzed through these things where all of us were mainly struggling. But I finally woke up to the systems here, and I went through it. I learned to read and write and whatever, but at a certain point, it's like I had enough. I just want to go surfing, and I'll find some job to do or whatever. And so I wasn't the career-minded. And I was with RealWakeUp and having the experiences, but there was a bigger picture that I wasn't seeing at the time because, again, I came into this life, even though I know why I came here. But when you come into the life and you have the body and the new body and the new mind and the senses here again, you're rather duh here. And so little by little I had to be kind of retrained into a position to where I am now, to where I recognize what's taking place. And it is that recognition. And this is what Paul had. He had the awareness, and he had the recognition and the heart and then sincerity, focus, and intent to provide something real, more so than, and he struggled with this too for many, many years till he finally figured it out, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all. And so it's more than becoming popular. It's more than just saying pretty words to the audience and looking good. It's a very real position, which I love the adventure. I just figured for the most part I'd be doing it by myself because I've seen so many people come and go, and most people do not see it, and how I refer to the is. And I don't even tell people to look for me in the dreams really so much. I do a little bit, for the most part I say look for RealWakeUp, look to the is, etc., because we're all beings of light, and many people now have experiences with myself and Ava and others. We're all having this, all of you are. We have phenomenal experiences that are taking place, and with the Vessel Project, and so yeah, the best part of it is the real guidance. And again, as I've known Ava here 2 years and gotten to know her very well, we're usually together 6-8 hours a day for the last 200 years on Skype, Facebook, etc. She makes these wonderful images, and she's told me her stories over and over again about what she went through, and all the pain, and she even had to take some pharmaceuticals for a while, and etc., and just therapy, finally to where she's fine today. In these last 2 years, she's basically healed herself. She no longer has the tap lines from the Hugh and the corporation and Joni and the reptilians. She no longer has any of that, etc. And these things affect, everybody a little bit differently. Some people can take more than others, but they all have them. They just don't see them. And so those that follow through with this or any of these systems here, they will be exactly where, you might say, the individuals that are deceiving others will be. They may think in their minds, oh, I'm going to my heaven or whatever, but the heavens of man, which are basically somewhere in the astral realm, are designated. I call them designated heavens because they decide if you're going there or not. They control that. They control your journey, just like they do here, control you wherever you're at. If you're at the bus station and you want to buy a ticket, you get in line and you're controlled and you're told which bus to get on, etc. Well, they do that in the astral realm too. They control people, and then they want them back again because they put a lot of time into people, deceiving them and making them servants and getting them to obey and be obedient. So they want these people back for lifetimes. They don't want them to wake up. And so again, when the membership or other people with corporations, etc., or those that love to be Democratic or Republican, and they wholeheartedly go with this, well, you're basically going to be stuck with these individuals that are deceiving others when you leave this life. And once you leave and pass over, then you're really going to start to see what took place on the earth and what is taking place, and then all of a sudden you're going to realize, how do I get out of this? And guess what? You basically can't, because you've already set into motion your cause and effect karma, and now you got to come back unconsciously again and struggle with it again, trying to wake up, and it's really a struggle here. So the new presentation is a real gift to humanity. We are for everyone. Everything makes sense with us, and everybody counts, but they must step up and be real. with themselves. And again, that's scary, because this is a fear-based system, and just like Dimitri is saying, it's like the onion. There's many layers of fear, too. That's the biggest thing for people to face their fears. It's easier to pretend that things are okay, even though everything is so obvious in this world of what has taken place, and most people just talk about it, and they laugh about it. They giggle about it. Oh, yeah, I smoke cigarettes, and I'll probably get cancer, but it's no big deal. I like cigarettes. Well, okay, see, and again, this has been a choice and agreement. It's not that, as an example, cigarette smoking is good or bad. It's simply a choice, and it's also cause and effect. And the end result is it a benefit? Is it benefiting you? And so, but people like to do it, but for the most part they're hooked because there's so many drugs in it. And so the end result will be the deterioration of the physical body because of it. But people in their minds can pretend it's like, oh, my grandfather smoked and he lived to be 105. Well, you know, he made it through to that point, but still it doesn't matter if he lived to be 500 years old. He still goes into the astral worlds, has to deal with the situation, come back unconsciously. Doesn't matter how long you live. These are ideas that people make up here, and so they're still in the matrix. They're still trapped, good, bad, or indifferent, famous or unfamous, rich, poor, what have you, or whatever you have here, popular or not. You're still trapped in the matrix. These ideas don't get you out. You will have to come back, and as soon as you step over to the other side, you'll see what's going on, and it's like, oh, gee, why didn't I do this, or why didn't I do that? And now you have to come back unconsciously again, even more restricted. So yes, this what we're presenting here is just a very narrow window of opportunity right now to wake up, get with the new you, and you might say save yourself. Yes, and that was cool, Dimitri. Thank you so much.
The next thing that I want to share, actually, it's self-explanatory for the most part. It fits in with what Duane has been talking about today, what the rest of us have been talking about today. It is in regards to something that I wrote and posted up on my Tumblr blog. I've posted probably 2,000 things or so, 2,000 hits on my Tumblr, and something came across my what they call it, a dashboard. Something came across my dashboard last night, and it's in relationship to, well, I guess I'll use the term ancient masters. All right, people like Jesus and Pythagoras and, Plato. Okay, so I had something to write about. I'm not going to get into the original post, but the basic idea is these men, women who've come in the past with the presentation. It's pretty short, so here we go. Okay, I write, these men were real. While on the earth, they provided unique presentations for the benefit of all life on the planet, each in their own respective time frames. It is because of men such as these that you know of the words Om, Hugh, Hare Krishna, and many, many others. The moment these sounds were introduced to mankind, those who were ready, those who had prepared themselves for a greater awareness, were offered the very real, yet very rare, opportunity to surpass all that they had known and step into the complete unknown. These old sounds, for their time, provided the focus to make the real connection to life itself, the all is. Along with these sounds, real guidance and real education became available, but only a very few ever recognized this and took complete advantage of what was in front of them. So what happened to these men, such as Jesus and Pythagoras? These few who stood with the courage to present something real. You may know at least that they were eliminated, while the lesser-known reality is that their presentations became ritual, doctrine, religion, otherwise known as control. Without a proper focal point and intent, the sounds which were once presented freely became property of the gods of man and their authoritarians who ruled the earth. And they were quickly misused, saturated with misunderstanding. They're now used for taplining and control, keeping the unaware unaware. Lucky for all, however, that life knows exactly what is taking place, and a new sound has been presented to mankind. A new presentation is once again taking place, and for those who are ready, those who have prepared themselves for a greater awareness are offered the real opportunity to surpass all that is known and to step into the vast and endless unknown. But only those who have a sincere heart and courage to take the risk will succeed and become more aware of what is real now, the all is. Do you want proof? You can prove it to yourself by simply testing the new sound, the new you sessions, once again presented freely. Reba's Artars and the real universal guides know who is ready to surpass creation and those who just want the knowledge and to play in the dirt. At least now you have the choice to become endlessly more aware or stay asleep. Have fun deciding.
Okay, and with that, Chris, we want to do a little new you and end it here, whereas we did a lot. Ava, are you still there, Ava?
Yes, but I don't know which one is there for Sing the New You.
Well, you just sing, and then let's see who is there.
Okay, I sing, and then everybody he like can sing then, yes.
Oh, Chris can go next, and Dimitri, and then Val, and I'll go last. So who's ever here, yes, that's
okay.
Fine. We'll figure it out. Go ahead.
Okay, I start. No,
Kelsey, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
And finally, new you. That was fun, everyone. And so the basic idea here is we will send you a new book in PDF format for those that have computers or cell phones, and you can find us, Duane the Great Writer, Ask Ava Now, Ask Duane and Ava, etc. We're all over Facebook. We're all over the Internet. Watch your dream visions. Have fun. Did you want to say anything, Chris? Go ahead. We play the kids' 4-minute thing there, too, at the end, don't we?
We are under attack. That's why we made this. Our government has been spraying us like bugs, using aluminum, barium, strontium, and other aerosols in order to control the climate. There are many reasons why this would be so, including weather control and for military supremacy. Think about it. What is really scary, though, is how slow adults are waking up to the fact that we are being poisoned by the powers that be. Look at these jets. If contrails start and stop like this, then the engine would be failing and the jet would fall. Jet trails should be consistent and dissipate very quickly, not stopping and starting. They should not huff and puff, resembling a paint sprayer. The trail should be dull and consistent.
Satellite and radar should not contain plane trails in ridiculous places, making patterns that turn to cloud cover.
We are not exaggerating when we say that life itself depends on adults doing some basic, easy research about aerosol geoengineering and joining forces with the growing movement to protect our planet from decision makers that have left you and I out of the conversation.
So here's how you do the research.
For starters, observe the skies above you. I think we can all agree that we can hear jets when they fly over. So why is it that on some days there are lines all over the sky and jet sounds, and other days there are no lines and no jet sounds? Why is it that during a storm we can hear the jets non-stop, completely opposite the sounds of a clear day? Commercial jet traffic should be nearly the same day to day. These are the things that are easy to keep track of, making you a researcher. The other thing is to pick out a jet leaving a trail in the sky and observe the trail over the next 4 or 5 hours and observe the expansion and how the trail interacts with other trails. 25 years ago, a person would have to argue that there would be no trails after 4 or 5 hours, but watch and observe. A second area to research is on line satellite and radar to the west of you, even out over the ocean. Observe how jet trails in those images spread out like haze by the time those trails are overhead. Notice how the sky turns from blue to dull, gray, or even silver.
What happened to our blue sky? This is easy to observe, but it does take a commitment to learning the truth.
You can compare sky color, sounds, and jet trail activity day to day to see what should be consistent. Scheduled jet traffic and routes is not what is happening. The third area of research is patents. There are over 100 geoengineering patents, many of which disperse aerosol from jets. These patents exactly describe the expanding and lingering jet trails that we see in this video. These patents exactly describe the metals everyday people, concerned citizens, are finding in rainwater tests. All of these patents can be found online in multiple places. Next research is to test your rainwater. It's easy, inexpensive, and instructions are online. What we are saying isn't crazy. Scientists say they want to build reflective clouds in exactly this way, a process known as geoengineering, specifically stratospheric aerosol geoengineering. Arctic scientists monitoring ice melt and methane have declared a planetary emergency. They are saying an intense full-scale stratospheric aerosol geoengineering campaign is needed immediately to avert a total sea ice melt that could occur as early as summer 2013. They say that the world must do this immediately. The point is that it is already being done, and look what that is doing to our weather. Soil pH, ocean pH, rainwater, and the unexplained rise in all aluminum-related and suspected-related diseases. The rainwater tests prove there are dangerous amounts of metals in each breath we take.
This is not rocket science.
So far, man's intellectual control of our planet has fueled what scientists are calling the sixth great extinction, with species being lost 10,000 times faster than ever seen in the past, including meteor events. What we see in our skies is that thinking. Can we afford our leaders and those who control them to be insane?
Who has the right to make us a part of their experiment?
We are under attack. Wake up!